Sunday! Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Ray Garino and Joe D calls them as they seize them, and you better believe them. Hear relevant news, biased opinion, and outright nonsense regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gas with mechanical trickery never before broadcast over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Ray and Joe cuss each other down track, barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and so much more at high noon this Sunday on the MotorMouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and the Live Eat, Ray Garino and Joe D. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Hempstead Turnpike to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the no parking on the expressway and no express service on the Parkway sign. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass.
All right, it's Sunday, so this must be MotorMouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show. And I'll tell you what, I was trying to put together a soulful, witty open for the show today, and I blew it. I couldn't come up with one. I was doing other things. So, but the underlying tone is going to be for me. You know, we usually don't date our shows, but everybody knows it's no secret. We're in Thanksgiving week, so
yes.
The theme for this week's going to be, hey, giving thanks for what you have, and I give thanks for this radio show, for my friends, of course, for my stellar co-host who's sitting over here waiting, and for you guys, for the listeners, for the audience, the people who keep us going and kind of spurn us on to do this thing. So, and so that's my deal. But I have to say that on this week in 1959 proved to be bad karmically for car guys, and one in particular. Because the Ford Motor Company squashed Chris's dreams forever, his future dreams, when it canceled the Edsel. This was 1959, so you could never own a great copy to build yourself. So with that, I will introduce to you Chris Switzer. How are you, Chris?
Thank you, my illustrious host, Ray Guarino, here with us on this fine Sunday. Yes, the world mourns. I could not, in 1959, purchase a new Edsel. Well, I could. You could purchase 60, but they built them all at that moment. I think I don't think any of them were actually built in 1960. They were all built in 1959, and then once the new year turned, it was the plug was pulled, and that was it. But yeah, that's when the letter came out,
right?
That the Edsel was going to be no more. Was November 22nd? And yes, we don't date our shows because they never pay for dinner.
Yeah, no, right. So this was this week. It might have been it wasn't the 22nd. I had made this note a few days ago, so it was a few days. But then again, they just said this week, so anytime, it was sometime.
Got it. Yeah, it was probably probably the end of November. That would make a lot of sense. That's when most of the layoffs happen.
Right. Yeah. Very true.
That's when it usually happens. And but no, this week has been fairly uneventful for me. I did have the Chrysler out. I tried to take advantage of some of the good weather. We did have some good weather this week, yes. So I had the big one out because it's the only way I can identify the car. I am not that advanced, nor am I that clever that I name my vehicles. You know, people that do this, we see it in magazines, we hear about it on videos. These clever individuals name their cars. I'm not that clever. I don't do that. Now, mind you, it's really confusing in my garage because when you open up the garage, there are 2 green Chrysler convertibles there.
Right.
So I have to delineate from one from the other. So I'll tell my wife, I'll say, well, I'm going to take the convertible out. Which one? Well, I'm going to take the green one. Which one? Well, I'm going to take the Chrysler. Which one? Well, I'm going to take it. It's like it's gotten to that point where I just have to now say I'm going to take the big one or the little one.
Well, that makes sense.
That's it.
We've had requests from Command Central because we have, this is like Dr. Strangelove and How I Won the War, dropping bombs. Can you kick your audio up a little bit?
Kick my audio up, sure.
How
about now?
Just kick yourself a little bit, and we'll be happy.
Check 1 2. How do I sound?
Very good.
Good. I feel much better now.
Nice.
So yeah, that's where I am. So I took the big one out.
How is she riding? And I use the word she because we usually have effeminate, it's like ships and cars. How is the old girl performing on the road?
She's doing very well. I was thinking of you this week because I started the air compressor up and I went through the ritual of checking all the tire pressures in the fleet. I try and do it once. I know you do it more than that.
Yeah.
I just try and do it once. I'm very pleased. I have, speaking of tire pressure, I have a set of, and I am not lying here.
You have a set, right?
I do. Yeah. A set of Sears Allstate tires.
Okay.
On the car.
From what year?
1981.
Yeah.
I am not lying.
Drive that 5,000-pound car around the highways and byways and just wait for them to blow out.
There was a set of them in the basement of the owner that purchased the car from. He says, "Oh, by the way, do you want the radial tires that are in the basement?" I'm like, "You got radial tires in the basement?" He says, "Yeah, I got 4 brand new Sears radials in the basement." I'm like, "I'll take them."
Nice and dry and hot. Yeah.
They still had the blue dye on the white wall. Yeah,
get that off because I think from then it would be like part of the rubber.
It was a chore to get it off, but it did. And now, mind you, I have to take these tires to go get them mounted on the rims and hung back on the car. Now I can't drive the car on what's on there because what's on there are Bolderinos and
what did you use to take that blue off? What was the magic?
Well, according to our internet know-it-all and producer, no, I did not use Mother Switzer's convertible top soap to take.
Because you want to have some of the rubber left to actually put on the road.
But I did resort to gasoline.
Nope.
I did resort to that. Well, here's the way I look at it. You could easily use Brillo. And then many years I used to do that. I used to use Brillo to clean the white walls. But when you use Brillo, you create little tiny marks in the white wall that dirt just gravitates to. So therefore, you're only having to clean the tires that much more. Yeah. If you already scar the white wall with the Brillo pad. So I thought, because these tires are brand new, let me try some sort of chemical. So I used something that I remember my dad using. It was in a white spray container. It was called
Brill Cream.
He used that in his hair. It was like Handy White or Bright White or something.
White.
Huh?
Bletch White.
Bletch White. That was it. Good. Look at that.
And the bletch, of course, is probably some language that means bleach. So
it probably
it was bleach. That's what it was. It was literally, you could use Clorox. But I was going to say just, the perfect, in my thoughts, the perfect material instead of Brillo to use would be like a Scotch-Brite pad. Because you can get them in fine, fine grain.
But wouldn't the Scotch-Brite also do the same thing and create scars in the rubber?
No, maybe on a microscopic level, but let's face it, it's not metal like a Brillo is. It's not stainless steel.
Right.
So it is a fiber, and you can get them like sandpaper. You buy it in grit level. Mm-hmm. So you buy the fine one, which I think is I have greens and I have like burgundy ones. I forget which one is I forget how their numbers run, but you can get them that are very fine because guys use it to polish stainless steel moldings and things like that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But that's what I was thinking of. In order to clean these things, I wanted to keep the white wall. It's my first chance to maintain these ancient good tires, and I wanted to keep the white wall somewhat intact. Oh, but you should have seen you never thought in a million years that you can raise the attention of just a tire guy who mounts and balances tires. But when I came in with the old tire and a brand new Sears radial, and he looked at the two and was like, "Who are you? What are you doing?" Like he had a million questions.
Where's your spaceship? I know you came from somewhere other than this world.
Yes, he was like, yeah, the mouth open, like, what is going on? He took such care in mounting these things. It was hysterical. But yeah, and it really is amazing. It is one of the, I gotta say, it's one of the talking points of my car that a lot of guys just don't have an answer for. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll put them on the side and hold on to them, and maybe they'll be worth something someday. They're tires.
Yeah.
Put them on the car.
Right.
I don't care. But just for the conversation piece alone, I think it's pretty funky. But a lot of people that walk around that car, it's kind of funny. You have to see them point, and they do. Yeah, and they do. A lot of guys that they point.
Do you have like an original spare in that car?
Yes, there is.
Wow.
There is it's an original bias spare in that car, and it still holds pressure. It still holds air. It sure does. Yeah, it's hysterical on the rim, and that's what cracks me up about this thing, because the car has been toyed with. It has been, meat hooks have been laid on this car. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could tell there's some craftsmanship and workmanship on this vehicle that's a little questionable, but it was done to an original vehicle, and that has not. A lot of that patina, a lot of that originality is still with the car. So I'm very pleased about that.
Well, that's because it was stored and the family kept it, so that helps a lot. It didn't go through a number of hands.
Right. It's only maybe, if anything, I'm probably the third owner.
So let me ask you this: if you're out in that car on a remote road and you don't have your cell phone or your Dick Tracy communicating with you, can you tell what time it is now?
Yes, I can.
No. So the sundial you mounted on that giant hood does work. Good to know.
And it's made out of stone. It's only 600 pounds.
No problem for that hood.
No problem. Mileage drops a little bit, but other than that, tough to see over it. But other than that,
dynamics at like 3 and 6 o'clock are kind of compromised too. But
I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm just sitting there looking at my phone, and I'm waiting for basically for the bank to open, and I'm just sitting in the car, and it's nice and quiet, and all of a sudden I hear, twing.
I love that sound.
I was like, what is that? The clock!
I love that sound. Yeah. So, Chris, there you go. We have now actually made history where we share something that is the same. We each have working manual clocks in our older cars. It's
amazing, isn't it? Because when we were younger, did any of the clocks in our cars ever work?
Never. In fact, I have an ashtray here somewhere from my Pontiac that back in 1977, I don't know how much money I spent for it, but I bought this rectangular red LCD digital clock.
Right.
It was a panel mount. And again, I don't know what I paid for it. They were kind of common. That's what everybody wants to get into the digital age. And I actually cut a rectangular hole in the ashtray because I didn't want to put it in the dash anywhere. Again, I was thinking in the future, you can change an ashtray.
Right.
I did mount it in that ashtray and ran the wires through and powered it up, and I had a digital clock.
So if you wanted to see what time it was, you had to open the ashtray.
No, it was right in the face of the ashtray. I literally mounted it in the face of the ashtray.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Because mine,
I think you got to open it up.
That's a good point. Ashtrays on cars, a lot of them, like the more classy cars, like the Caddies and the upscale cars, probably your Chrysler, the ashtray would fold down. And when you folded it up, it kind of blended into the dash. On my Pontiac, it was part of the dash just folded out, like a Chevy or something. There was no real pomp and circumstance about the ashtray.
And there's no luxury to a Chrysler ashtray whatsoever. It is the same one. It's the same one out of taxicabs. That's what I loved about Chrysler. The bean counters were always, you can always tell when a bean counter had their mark on a vehicle, because if you looked at the ashtray on a Caddy, especially like your 65, if your 65 had the flip up door, that aluminum stainless looking thing that flipped up, and it displayed the ashtrays in all your smoking glory. Oh boy.
I think, and that ashtray was wide.
Oh, yeah.
I think it had dual lighters, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think it had one lighter in the center, but we could be wrong.
I know he saw dual lighters somewhere, but maybe it was somebody else's car. I don't know. But yeah, even like the light, the ashtrays lit up. They had lights in them in the rear.
Yeah, you had a lighter on either side in the back.
You remember they had ashtrays in the backs of the front seat? So the ashtrays would pull down?
Sure, but not on the caddy. On the caddies, they were in the door armrests. Yes. But yeah, on the 63 and 64s, you had to put, it was almost like a secret doorway. You had to push it in, and then it would fold out, and it would be so smooth, and it would just drop. Yeah. This is not like the Chrysler at all. The Chrysler, you grab hold of this metal bar, and you pull it down, and it goes kapring. Right. And then everything in there, because I don't keep anything. I don't keep ashes in an ashtray anymore. Who the heck smokes? But what I keep in there all comes flying out, like it's like a light bulb or a couple of screws that, whatever it is, just pshing, it comes all flying out all over the place. So you have to two-hand it. You have to open the ashtray with one hand and keep the other hand to keep all the stuff contained in the ashtray.
I usually keep a chapstick in the ashtray.
Yeah, I know what you keep in the ashtray.
Yeah, there's no coins. It's somewhere else. But yeah, everybody has a different thought.
But yeah, so but the clock works. The clock keeps time, and every once in a while, I think I installed it right after the show last week. I finished it up. It was a chore because I think I'm the only guy who can actually get a clock into the dash, and it was shifted over about a quarter of an inch. I'm like, what in the world? Bolts were matching up. I'm like, what is going on here? I had to get back under there and reinstall it again and create tools. I had a regular 1/4-inch drive to 2 extensions, and then I had a 1/4-inch socket. And in the 1/4-inch socket, I had a Phillips head screw tip.
Right.
And I used a piece of of masking tape around the screw tip so I could fit it in there so it fits snugly. Right. And on top of that, I used Fun Tack.
Oh, cool.
I walked in the house and I said to my wife, I said, "Do you have any Fun Tack?" And she's like, "You're working on the car, right?" You're not doing any first grade projects out there. I'm like, no. I'm working on the car. Yeah. So I took the Fun Tack and I had to put it on the tip of the Phillips head end, and then put the screw on that and send the whole thing up into the dash.
Now here's something that you brought up a week or two ago that I've seen firsthand, and I've seen used quite a lot. Guys in the body shops, again, because I've been seeing this. That's what one of the things they use Dum Dum for. And Mike Jr. does that. Like, I was trying to do something one day in the shop where I forget if it was a socket or a driver, and I couldn't make the bolt. It was a weird. Put some Dum Dum in there. And Steve in Limerick, he's famous for that. He Dum Dums everything.
Really?
Well, literally, yeah. You put a blob in there, and it just holds the bolt. Beautiful. Yep. Perfect. Yeah.
Because the bolt, the screw not only had to go straight up, but it had to go on an angle. Yeah. So now gravity is not your friend at that point because the screw is going to fall right off.
Right.
And it usually lands in your eye or in your nose.
Or it's like my T30 Torx that's in my wife's car somewhere. You hear it go click, click, ting, click, ting, and you never see it again.
I love the fact that still bothers you.
And I bought a whole other set of Torx. I bought a whole other set of Torx drivers. And yeah, it's because it ticked me off. It's that damn Matco screwdriver, Brian. It's so strong. It's unbelievable.
I love it. This is the perfection. This is the perfection that you are saddled with.
Yeah.
That you're lumbered by.
Right.
But I lose a 10 millimeter socket, and I'm like, okay, let me go get another one. That's like more than one.
I got a big albacore around my neck. I know.
Oh my gosh! And that's the funny thing because one of those socket Phillips head affairs that I built, 1/4-inch socket Phillips head, I put it, real smart guy here, I have a flexible 1/4-inch like screwdriver handle, but it's flexible, it's on a spring.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's going to work. So I put the 1/4-inch drive Phillips head affair on that, and the Fun Tack and the screw, and now I'm going up in there with that. Of course, it hits a wire, bends, flexes the the spring right before my very eyes and then fires that 1/4-inch drive. Phillips said, "Pachoom!" Goes right across. It goes in the dash. Gone.
Let me just clear something up here. Maybe you'll know because I don't remember the exact lineage of this, but because our web know-it-all just kind of called this out, and what I was doing is I was just parodying. When I said I had an albacore around my neck, there was a comedian who used that. Was it Shecky Green or Henny Youngman? Who used to say that?
Oh, gosh.
Because it was obviously an obvious bastardization of saying I have an albatross around my neck.
Yes. I was thinking more like...
I thought it was... No, there was an older comedian who did that.
I was thinking more like Leo Gorcey. Hunts Hall, Dead End Kids.
Maybe. I got it from someone of that ilk.
Right.
All right.
Right. He used to do that. Norm Crosby. There's a name.
Norm Crosby, yeah.
Norm Crosby used to play with the English language like that. Yeah, I picked up on it.
Yeah, I know you did, yeah. If you have an albacore stuck around your neck, give us a call at 516-256-9510, and you can get in on this fun and share your stuff. I can't read that right now because it's too small, but I trust you. So, also in this week in history, this is a pretty cool week in history. Good thing I have calendars. It was 4 years ago that Mike took his 71 Chevelle, the one that I spent a lot of time on the restoration process.
Right.
And we took it apart at the shop in Limbrook, and it was a joint project with the AutoZeum. To have students learn and do things. 4 years ago. Now that car is on the road and running, and I mean, still getting touch-up work done. It was at the shop again this past week for a few little touch-up things, but it's turnkey and ready to go. So,
all in all, did that give you? Was that an easy restoration, or did it have its fair share of moments?
Well, I'll tell you this: like every restoration, it had. Let me just say this from the start: if it was my car to restore in this, and I had it in the condition it was in when he got it.
Right.
I would have had to sell it because I wouldn't have had the wherewithal, the ability to restore that car because of all the body work and the tough stuff that had to be done. Only because it was done through there. Right. Now, once I started seeing that car again, when it was going back together, I was able to take over from there and just roll with it. 'Cause it was just bolting things back together, doing the engine work. But the hard stuff, that hard body work, I'm not equipped for that. I'm not a body guy, so
right. Something you've always said. And I've done my fair share of body work, and it's not easy.
This was more than body work. This was literally rebuilding the hard panels. I mean, all the rust that came out of that car. It's amazing. And most people, I think, would have had to pass on that car.
Oh, I believe it.
So that one was saved.
I'm sure that the way you describe it, I'm sure it was a glorified parts car. If you think about it. Yeah, if you think about it. That's, it's funny because I used to buy cars that were rusty. You know that all too well.
Yeah.
And now I just realize you're just buying air. I mean, you're not buying a car. You're buying air.
Somebody would have bought that car for the engine and for the powertrain, engine and transmission, rear end.
It was original, right? It was numbers not matching.
Yeah. But that's about it. I mean, that's about all there would have been.
All right, 516-256-9510. We're going to the phones. We're going to the fun right here on MotorMouth Radio and saying, hi, you're on with the MotorMouths. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Vic, did you butt dial us? Darn it.
I think he's listening to the radio.
He is.
Is he listening to us? He is. All right. Call us back.
That didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I think we're done here. 516-256-9510. Phone line is open.
Yeah.
So, I think I see it again. Let's try this again. See if technology works here. Hi, you're on with the MotorMouths.
It's funny because I'm not seeing it here.
Oh, okay.
So...
Okay, then I don't know why it came up again. It did.
I don't know.
All righty, we're closing everything.
One of those days, folks. One of those.
Yes, all right. Back away from the phone. Got it.
Right. But
yeah, that car had the original drivetrain, suspension, and rear.
Yeah, and as we found out, the previous owner had advertised it as being pretty much a rebuilt engine, and. I sniffed around it, and I smelled a rat right away. And unfortunately, I was right. So even that had to come apart and be redone. Luckily, we only did the top end. It was cam and heads that had to be redone. The bottom end we didn't touch. I had it was hard enough convincing Mike to let me do the top end, because I know you don't do a car for so much, and last thing you do is spend more money. I got it, man. I understood, but it really couldn't have been used the way it was. The guy had a solid lifter cam with hydraulic lifters on it in there.
What?
And I think he had swapped the heads to sell the car, because the heads were freshly painted Chevy orange, but when you look into the exhaust porch, you saw orange paint on the valve guides and the carboned up valves. Like, this is not a rebuilt head.
Right.
My theory is he probably had better heads or aluminum heads on the shelf on the car, and then put them on the shelf and put the old cast heads back on it. But
let's go back to the phones, back to the fun, and say hi. You're on with the MotorMouths.
Hey, Ray, Chris, it's Glenn.
Glenn, how are you?
I texted you last week. It's been a long time since I called.
Yes.
How you been?
Good.
You doing well? What's going on?
Well, I'm in the garage, but I'm painting doors for the house, so I'm not doing car work.
What?
Glenn sent me a picture of his Camaro that you've seen the car, Chris. And I got to say, Glenn, the new wheels are definitely that road race look. It gives it that kind of autocross look. What made you choose those?
In part was the look. I wanted something vintage. I wanted to get away from the rally rims, although I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm going to keep them.
Yeah, sure.
I just said it was just a kind of surfing on the internet, and my friend said, "Oh, you should get bigger rims and do this, do that," and everything has a price tag.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fast forward, that's the brand I locked in on, and I went ahead and got that particular rim set with a staggered setup. So it's 17 by 8 in the back, and then 17 by 7s in the front.
That's exactly.
And it fit the car in a stock configuration.
You did what I did with my car. I think I have 17 by, I think my rear rim is maybe 8.5 or 10 inch. And again, 17 by like 7.5 or 8 in the front. Same thing. And the only thing I didn't like was I had to use a low profile tire in the front, but it is what it is. It works.
Yeah. And now you talked about old tires and old stuff. I got, shocks on there from whenever. Remember we did the springs with Gerard way back when for the front on that car.
Yeah.
And the rear leaf springs, I don't know where, I'm assuming they're original to whatever car that I got them from.
Yeah.
They're not new. They're not. So I did those at some point, swapped them out from another Camaro, and here we are. So I want to do stock leaf springs again, or I shouldn't say stock. I want to probably go a little lower.
Yeah.
And really buy a nice set of monotube shocks all around.
There you go.
That's my, for now. Or maybe, and it's a big maybe, to do tubular, let's say, upper and lower A-arms. That's a maybe. So,
right.
But I've got the car back together in its, as you see it, it runs, it drives, it gets down the street, and it's inspected again. So that's all that matters.
That's good news.
So
you had said that you had planned on doing something else with the car in the text. I don't remember what it was. Because the motor was sound, tranny was sound. You had gone through all that already. That was all done, right?
basically just to make it safe. And my thinking was the rear leaf springs for now. Like just concentrate on one spot. I can't. I don't want to go take everything apart, and I don't have really much room neither.
Yeah.
But make it run, make it usable. And of course, I'm getting this all ready for winter.
Right. Well, you know,
so your timing's like mine. I get it.
But I'll tell you, like what I did, Glenn, is through the last few winters, if there's not snow on the ground and salt, I'm taking my car out. If it's dry, it's going out. It runs great in the cold weather, in the cold air.
Wow.
You know, I might be doing that. So I didn't do much like research or looking around. I would love to go, like you mentioned, autocross route, but you really need to commit a lot of time and money into a certain, like what you're after. I just want to get down the street. I want to drive it on the road again.
Right.
And that's all right. I'm going to stick with what I got and make it work. And the cost factor is big.
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, you keep your expectations low or sane, and you can attain that goal. It's not a hard goal, and even now you want to step it up. I'll say this because I was dealing with an A body, you're dealing with an F body. The parts are out there. There's multiple places to choose from.
Yes.
They've gotten a lot more affordable too, and it's not. You may have to save a little there. Sell your wife's jewelry that she doesn't wear. No, I didn't say no. But, a couch. I don't know, and you can make that nut in maybe in a month or two.
Yeah, where's that bracelet? I was like, I did get those new shocks.
Yeah.
There are all those things. I think I'll just concentrate on my initial thoughts with the rear leaf springs, and then I'll go from there. Eventually, get cosmetic stuff is not in the equation at the moment.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're talking about like rust, and we're all dealing with older cars. This car has seen its fair share of use and abuse, or being left outside for periods of time.
True.
The bodywork is showing over the years, so I just just use it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do a restoration on it. Doesn't make sense.
No, but I'll say this:
next car,
back from when you first built that car, in Freeport. I remember when you first did it. Back to the way it is now. It still looks a lot better, and now it's a driver. It is definitely a usable car, and so it needs like the second gen go over. It needs to be like touched up again, but that's okay. That's
Yeah, and that's what my objective is in time. So we'll see what happens.
No, believe me, Glenn, I'm proud to own a 10-footer. Well, actually, mine's like a 20-footer. It looks better when you're way far away. It looks really good. Once you get up close to it, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, super. The bigger the better, right?
Yeah.
What car you have now, Chris? I know you had multiples over the years.
Oh yeah, the latest suffering vehicle in my garage is a Chrysler, a '69 Chrysler convertible. So
it's a big vehicle.
It is. It's a handful, and it's one of those cars that I should have never bought it, and I'll probably lament if I ever sell it. So it's one of those cars. But it keeps me busy.
It's a land yacht.
It is.
Did you recently got that car?
I've had it about a year now. I had the TR6 for about 20 years, and I sold that. And it was just a matter of time before something. I always had big convertibles. I always did. I always had big Buicks. Always had big Caddy convertibles. So it was kind of like, let's go back into that again. And I saw this come up, and I went, let's try it. What a
there you go.
Dumb thing to say.
Push it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm learning a lot, and it's going back. It's like you say.
That's the other thing. It's all a learning curve.
Yeah, it sure is.
Hone your skills on something else, and try to do better the next go around. So that's kind of where I'm at too.
Right, and that's the place where you and I are. Well, Ray isn't anymore because the GTO is finished. His car is finished. But where you and I are, if you ever wanted to practice on some body work and do some small patches here and there on the Camaro, you can give it a shot, right? And what happens?
I got plenty of spots. I'll have to come by and show you, Ray. It's coming through, but from 20 feet away at 20 miles an hour going by, you don't really see it.
Exactly.
So
what, you're going to really mess it up that badly? No.
You know what? And Glenn's done that before. He's done that before. He's tackled that kind of stuff before. And, that's the thing.
I'll do it.
Right. It's a car you drive like sometimes. So you spray it to get some runs and drips. You go, oops. Yeah. All right. When that dries, I'll sand it. That's all.
Exactly.
Right.
That's all.
Well, let me get back to my work here.
Good luck.
To say hello, and I'll be in touch.
Keep in touch, Glenn. Great to hear from you. Thanks.
A pleasure.
All right, guys. So long.
Right,
be safe.
So long. That's our good old friend Glenn. So
516-256-9510. Yes.
And what we're going to do is we're at the bottom of the hour, so we're going to take our break. But first, I have to say, before we get to the honor group of the hour, I have another dishonor group of the hour.
Oh, okay.
And it comes from working on my own vehicle.
What?
If you have bought a car from a person, the previous owner was an effing slob, that you have to clean up after.
Oh.
They are in the dishonored group of the hour. And the way you can see what I got myself involved in is look at our social media feeds, look at Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, boy.
Which is MotorMouth Radio. That's our tag. And on Instagram, it's real_MotorMouth Radio. And you will see the center console, but you'll see worse is what's under the center console. You zoom in on that picture.
Oh, good God. What is that, a nest?
This guy must have had bagels every day of his life. There's candy. Actually, there's an even worse one that I have.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was explained to me that what happens is when food sits like that in a warm area, the sugars release, because I couldn't vacuum this stuff up. It looked like bird seed, but I couldn't vacuum it up. It was stuck. I'm like, what the heck? No, the sugars release and then reform, and it forms food tar. Yeah, it forms.
It looks like bees. It looks like insects in there.
That's like bagel seeds and crackers and.
Oh my gosh! Also, when you have to take a car apart to clean it.
You know what happened? I had the seat out because I was changing the driver's seat because he skeeved that up too. So I said, I spent almost $300 on a used driver's seat, just to not have to sit on his dopey crap. So, oh yeah, some things are worth spending the money on. Trust me.
Whoa, yeah, I'm sure of that.
This guy had this vehicle since he's the second owner. I can track it back. I think he probably had 10 years.
I see that in the picture, the seat is gone, the console's gone. You can obviously the shift selector and the quadrants there. But past that, on the floor, looks like a pile of bees. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
There's even a worse picture that I didn't post. I think
good.
The picture might have made it to, well, that's good. That shows
good.
In every crack and crevice. So what happened is, I had the seat out and I was vacuuming the floor, and in the FJ, it's beautiful. Everything is plastic. So it's like,
sure.
I'm noticing that there was stuff everywhere, just little crumbs and things.
Oh,
so,
God.
Poking out from the bottom of the side of the console was a piece of paper, and I pulled it, and it was a little piece of paper. So as I pulled it out, a couple of little seeds and crumbs fell. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I grabbed the side of the console at the bottom and pulled it out, and then a shower of seeds and crackers.
Oh.
So I said, all right, I got to take this console out. And I will tell you this, I go on record. I don't know if it's a Toyota thing, and I don't think so, because I've worked on my daughter's Toyota, not to this degree, but in other degrees. Like you need to take the whole front bumper and grill off to get the headlights out of her car. Sure. Mine, you don't. And what happens is, hang on that, Chris. What happens is this FJ comes apart, the console came apart in literally 30 seconds. I had it out. No clips broke. They built the thing to be taken apart. So
that's pretty amazing.
Took it home, cleaned it. This guy's a slob. I might write him an anonymous letter and like
he's not going to know it's you.
Well, he doesn't know that I own the car, truthfully, because he didn't sell it to me. If you think of it, he did not sell me that car.
A lot of good it's going to do.
That's the dishonor group of the hour. We'll make you.
All right, the MotorMouth Radio honor group of the hour. If you don't trust your fuel gauge. That's right. Does your gauge read 3/4 and it's really a full tank? Does the gauge read 1/4 and you're riding on fumes? Does the needle swing past full and you're missing a ground somewhere? Does the silly thing even work at all and you're using the trip odometer to tell you when to stop and fill up? Well, if you're not on speaking terms with your fuel gauge, Ray, well, then you are part of the MotorMouth Radio honor group of the hour.
That sounds like a travelogue in the Switzer household of project cars, if you ask me.
It sure is. Every one of my fuel gauges, I'm like, I know you're going to mess with me.
Yeah.
I don't trust you.
All right.
I don't trust what you're saying.
On those happy notes, we'll take our bottom of the hour break, and we'll be back with more MotorMouth Radio at 516-256-9510. Keep it where you got it on 90.3 WHPC.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 5 for 2 hours of revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve K, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 5 on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
It's a call-studded program. We do have another caller on the line. Caller, identify yourself.
Anthony, I called those guys with the cars one time.
Oh, nice. The MotorMouth guys.
Oh, yeah, those good old boys.
There you are. Anthony, where are you calling from?
I'm in Freeport. Yeah, this morning I miss it. My boss was, every time I turn it on, he turns it off. I say, whoa. Yo, you better, I give him a karate chop.
That's right.
Give him a karate chop. Give him an F5. I love it.
Later, dudes.
It's a pleasure, bro. Take it easy. That was
amazing.
My favorite caller
of all time.
Maybe all time. I have heard him with the MotorMouth guys. That's why I recognized him a little.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limbrook and Oceanside, who remind you that New York State law says you always have the right to choose which shop you want to have your car fixed at. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services: 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. And yes, se habla español. More information is available by calling 516-593-0920 or visiting online at celebritychasecollision.com. All right, happy to see you stuck with us to hear about our goopy cars and our previous owners that we want to string up and do nasty things with here on MotorMouth Radio with Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. Give us a call, 516-256-9510. That means you, Keith, and we will be happy to talk to you about your car concerns. So.
I remember cleaning up massive amounts of soda in a console of my Subaru.
Oh, boy.
And soda is awful to any sort of component, whether it's some sort of like a computer board or anything mechanical. You know what soda does? It turns to gum, and and that's really well. What you're dealing with is soda with lumps.
I don't think this guy had soda in that mix. I think it was really just the food. I'm finding Advil gel caps, candies that were I mean, a little of everything. It just dumped onto this console. I don't know. I can't understand how it. I mean, listen, we all eat in the car occasionally. I said how I told you about the White Castle story a little while ago. But I'm a nut, whereas like in the car, if I do happen to have a bagel or a roll, I'm careful how I eat it. And I learned, like, as you're taking the bite, suck in a little bit. It'll get the seeds, and then invariably a few particles are going to fall. But when I get out of the car, I then brush off. And I pick them out and
Exactly. You have an awareness.
Exactly.
It's part of your perfectionism that we've noticed throughout this whole show that you're saddled with.
True. Okay. Yeah,
516-256-9510 is the phone number. We're going to the phones. We're going to the fun. And we're saying hi, you're on with the MotorMouths.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? This is Keith.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
Keith, how are you?
How does that work? Good, how are you?
It's mental telephonics with Ray. That's how it works. Ray just reaches out to you mentally and goes, call the show. That's what he does.
Yep, exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Well, so I've been working on cars all the time, and this is the first time that I'm actually listening live and working on a car.
Oh, good.
And I have a question because I did something here.
Uh-oh.
I have it's fixable. It's a 76 GMC motorhome.
Oh, wow.
It has a Oldsmobile. Yeah. It has an Oldsmobile 455 in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm doing valve cover gasket. It's a normal painted. It's front-wheel drive.
You're working inside the truck, right? Inside the cabin, basically, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Keith. Does it have shag carpeting? It's a 76.
No, that's gone.
Oh, does it have green appliances?
Gone, yeah. No.
Does it have a disco ball? Come on, Keith, work with me.
It might have went way back when. All that's been refurbished.
Did you find a Saturday Night Fever 8-track tape in the
It's a motorhome, not a rolling discotheque. Come on.
Okay, so moving on.
Why did you buy a motorhome?
To go places, we want to go traveling and I wanted a cool motorhome, something that wasn't like an everyday square box.
Right.
Yeah, you wanted
got this and
box.
Yeah, so you're doing the valve cover gaskets on it, which is cool. Good. So you're not going to get asphyxiated with oil smells in the cabin.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So now it only leak like maybe 1 quart instead of 3.
I love it. The eternal optimist. I love it.
Take it.
Yeah. But, so I'm working in here, leaning on stuff and, whatever. And I look and some vacuum line broke.
Oh.
I looked it up. Yeah. It's the vacuum valve or something like that. It goes into the intake.
All right.
Okay.
It has a temperature. So this is probably for Ray. I can go get a replacement. I can't get a replacement today, obviously, because this thing's old. How do you think I should fix this thing? I mean, one of the vacuum lines just broke. I leaned on it and it just cracked one of the ports.
Right.
Wow, Christian just sent me some stuff about a motorhome with a 455 front-wheel drive. This thing is really ancient and cool. You're talking about a temperature control, temperature-actuated vacuum switch is what if I'm correct. Okay, so you need the whole switch.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
So you want to replace that whole switch.
Okay.
Is it screwed into the block?
Temporary fix.
A temporary, okay. If it's a temporary fix, if you have a broken nipple that a hose goes on, you just take it out of the hose and JB weld it back on.
Right, epoxy. Yeah.
But the switch may be available because that may have been used in other lines, from in other car or the Oldsmobile. It's an Oldsmobile.
Yeah, it's the whole front. It's the front end of the Oldsmobile Tornado.
Okay, so that may be a Tornado part, which may not be too hard to find.
Yeah.
I
looked on. I looked online. The stores don't have it locally, so I can order it. But I'm trying to get the things up and running. Now, can I just bypass that? What does that thing do?
That could be where if it's small hoses. My first thought would be that would control the dash controls for the heat, the HVAC. That's my first thought.
Right. So you
well, it goes into the carburetor.
Well, that's
what it goes into the carburetor, and it's just heat.
Is that the source of the vacuum, the carburetor? Is that the source? Or is it screwed into...
It looks like it's probably the source, and then it goes in. You know what? I wonder if this thing's even working. Now I'm looking at it.
I tell you what you do. You have my email address. Yeah. Send me some pictures of that, some close-up and some broad pictures, and I'll do some legwork. I may be able to get an answer for you on that.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's just bypassed right now anyway, because there's a hose that's just looped around, goes from top right to the bottom.
No, some of the GM stuff did use a looped hose. I saw that, and I remember the first time I saw it, like, who bypassed this? But no, it was the way it was configured. So that's what I mean. I can, if I'm correct, I may be able to get you some factory drawings on that. But I'm not.
In the meantime, if you find if you can still salvage the tube, if you can find like some sort of thin jeweler's screwdriver to stick in the tube, and then pretty much put a little JB weld on it and affix it to the. And the only reason why I say put a jeweler's screwdriver in there because you don't want the JB weld to close up the hole.
Right. Or a toothpick.
Yeah, one of those things. And then just let it sit overnight. And you have your temporary fix at least until you can get the part ordered and delivered.
Right.
So,
yeah. I'm just wondering what it even does. I mean, it looks like it's some kind of temperature, then I don't know. I don't know what it's doing.
If you can get your hands on the valve close enough to see if there's a part number on it, that's the added bonus. If you can send me that as well, then I can really do some digging. Because I have some contacts and some sources. Joe D still is an eye in the sky with stuff like that too. So we can. I have a couple of different between my library and guys like him. I can usually get some answers for you. Plus, we have other guys who are in the Olds Club. I'll talk to Bobby.
Yeah. And in the meantime, if you can get a set of polyester pants and a set of high top shoes and a Kiana shirt,
just like Chris is wearing now, Keith. Trust me.
Get a little Bee Gees going on. That'd be cool. Send pictures.
Yep. Yeah. Keith, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Keith. Send me some pictures.
Take care.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Bye, guys. Bye.
Excellent.
516-256-9510. I'm in the mood to dance. Hey, look at me. I'm dancing. That's cool. I love it.
I want to hear from Christian because he's got a motorhome just like that.
Really?
Probably just like, and this thing is like, it's cool. It is very, very cool. And, it doesn't surprise me.
I like our internet know-it-all says a ruffled shirt. Yeah, exactly. With one of those big ties, with those big bright blue velvet ties.
Right.
All right, we're going back to the phones. My longtime radio colleague at 516-256-9510. Going to the phones. Going to the fun. Saying hi, you're on with the MotorMouths.
Hello, gentlemen.
Christian.
What's up?
How are you, my brother?
That is crazy that he just called about that, because when we pulled the big block out of the motorhome in Medford, right behind that motorhome was the one with the 455 in it.
Unbelievable.
Front-wheel drive.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the nicest thing is, this one that we seen was all aluminum.
Oh, yeah.
The whole out exterior was aluminum. And if you polish it out, I'll tell you, it's not rotted out, of course.
Right.
But when the guy said it had I'm like, that's a torn out front end in that thing? Oh, you got to be kidding me.
That's amazing.
Well,
and then we thought about that thing. What's that?
I'm saying it makes sense for parts replacement, reliability, for roadworthiness. I mean, it's
good
all
in the snow.
Yeah.
You can pull yourself through the snow.
Going up hills. Yeah. It's
Ice Peak in a motorhome.
I just sent Ray pictures. I just sent Ray pictures of it because I'm like, what did he just say?
I just sent the pictures to Chris and our internet know-it-all so they can see it for themselves. So they will see it.
Yeah, well, this thing's available. I mean, someone wants to take the shot at buying a restaurant. Hey, that's all for you, man. That's for me. I'm building a house right now. That's a house on wheels. That's all I look at it.
That's what it is.
We're it's bad enough we got the big block that we're swapping into our Snap-on truck. We pulled the big block, an 86, out of another motorhome.
Right.
With seatbelts. That's how we got it out.
Oh, geez.
With seatbelts.
Seatbelts and a forklift, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
No.
Did you buckle the seatbelts or did you tie the seatbelts to
completely?
Knots. Good.
Some knots, yeah. It's all good.
You don't want to buckle
And here's on the other note about stuff, too. I'm outside working on the house right now, and I'm listening, but I hear all these little tidbits, and I'm like, I just put a 06 Trailblazer on the road. I could barely drive it because it's such a great vehicle. It smells. I've been going crazy shampooing this thing out, and just like Ray, I got to pull the console because it's cigarettes and coffee. It's the worst.
Oh, Christian, this truck that I bought, the same thing. You get in it, it just had this kind of probably not as disgusting as yours, but it just had a little bit of a funk to it.
I get pulled over. They're going to think I'm a serial killer or something because it smells like death in there or something. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus. Right. I want to strip the whole interior, but it's not worth it, But I said, you know what? I'll strip the whole interior and I'll just, I don't know, undercoat the whole inside of the darn thing and put some home insulation up and call it a day.
Yeah,
it's just an extra work vehicle. He's laughing, but you know what it is?
It's true.
You get something that has a good chassis and it drives so good, and the 4-wheel drive works. And I'm like, hey, it's a good winter truck,
Right,
but it's
2 days. I got to park it. Right. I shampooed it 3 times. When I shampoo it, it looks like it repurpose it right back to Starbucks, man. I'm telling you, it's like brown and like caffeine and cigarette tar, and I'm like, maybe I could like ferment this stuff and make some sort of crazy maple brew or something. I don't know.
I'm going to buy one of these. Do you have
one?
It's funny, but I understand. I sympathize with you, my brother. I get it. I know.
Do you have one of those?
So good. I wish.
Do you have one of those machines that can actually, like the extractors that you could you spray the fluid on the carpet and then it sucks it up into the bin because they work. I'm going to buy one.
I have that. But I have that. Right, I have that. Yes, I bought one. Okay. But right now, I'm going to take a razor blade. I am going to cut the headliner out and the carpet and everything. I'm going to strip that thing to bare metal interior. The console. When I pull that console, God only knows, I probably could roll about 8 cartons of Marlboro. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's the truth. I totally get it.
I drive it for 2 days. I drive it for 2 days. I park it at the shop. Matt's like, "What's the matter?" I said, "I can't. You take it over, man." He comes back. He comes back the next day. It drives so good, but Jesus Christ, it smells so bad.
Yeah. you got to take a shower after you get out of the truck.
Right.
That's why I changed the driver's
seat. It's a great vehicle.
Hey, that's why I spent $300 on a driver's seat. I didn't want to sit on the same seat this slob sat on. It's all like, just, my God.
I'm in the same boat. What's wrong? Why are we, oh, come on, man. Why do we do this to ourselves, Ray? Why?
Yo, Christian, I just found out from a good friend who has some law enforcement background that burnt coffee grinds gets the DOA smell out.
Oh, I'm good. Shit.
Don't
worry, we'll edit that out.
Right, listen, we got to roll.
That's great. Oh, wow. So on that note, I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Christian.
Thanks, Christian.
See you later.
Man, this show gives advice. Good advice.
Good boy. Do we ever? It's just a testament to the friends we have who help us out. And we got guys. We got guys that can help in some situations that you can't talk about. So
that's why I value this show and love it very much.
Exactly.
Respect the people that listen to it. That's for sure.
So as we wind down, let me say again that, I do value this show, Chris, as I value you as a co-host, the fun alone and the camaraderie. It's just, you know what? If I don't do anything else ever in my life again as I get older, I'll always be happy that I did this. That's just the old age setting in. Don't worry, they're going to give me a pill and send me back to my chair later. I'll get that. No, Dad, you just sit there and be quiet. It's all right.
Yes, just right. I'll waddle past you every once in a while and ask, who are you? Hey, who are you?
I know you. Yeah. I see you once. All right. That's what we're headed, gentlemen. So let's do it with fun.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what? If we get Alzheimer's, it'll be like meeting a new friend every week.
Right.
Hey, who are you?
Yeah, you're right. So with that, we're going to go out and meet some old friends.
Yes.
Old and new. Chris, what do you say?
Don't follow us home and don't smoke in the car.
Right. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, MotorMouth Radio, signing off. We'll see you next week.
See you. Bye.